What is going on, guys? Welcome to 300 years in the future in Football Manager 2017. As you can see, we are in 2317. If you're new to my channel, I've done this 100 years and 200 years, and this is actually in the same save as well. So it's very interesting to see how it progresses, the different interesting things, how teams do better, maybe do worse, get relegated, certain teams get promoted, but there's no real surprises like a really low team getting promoted to the Premier League and maybe staying there, maybe have to investigate a bit more, maybe they did, but then, drop back down, we'll have to see. But what you can see right now is at least recent dominance by Arsenal. Obviously, there's still many years in the future. Manchester United, a lot of wins. Let's see how much they have now. If we go to the overview, 21 wins in the Champions League and 64 Premier Leagues. But there has been one team that has dominated, and that is Manchester City. You can see the overview. They've won 93 Premier Leagues and 27 Champions Leagues. That is pretty crazy. Manchester City, obviously, they'll always have that good money in Football Manager, and that they won all those Champions Leagues, obviously, in the game, and they just continue that dominance. They haven't won for a fair while, though, so that's pretty interesting. And with the Premier League, there's just so many, and they haven't won for 8 years, so they'll be looking to get another one. So it's just very interesting taking a look at these kind of things. But as I said, looking at the Premier League, it's not as interesting. Like, as I mentioned, there's no standout lower teams that have gotten into the Premier League unless we have a bit more of a look. But what I do want to look at, what is interesting, is actually Champions League. So we'll go back to Manchester City. Just the easier way to get to it, to the Champions League. And then the final for this season, you can see Atletico, Real Madrid. But if we go to past winners, there has been a shock. There's one team, and it's a couple teams in the same country from France, Marseille and PSG. Obviously, PSG, they haven't won a Champions League in real life, and they failed to do so again for this season. But anyway, if we go into the competitions, they've won 55 times in this save. So if we go back again, and then go to Marseille, let's see how many times they've won. 52 Champions League, a bit more of a surprise, and they have won once in real life. If we go to the competitions, you can see they won in 93. They were runners-up in 91 as well. But I'd say they're more surprising because they're not as rich, at least at the start of the save, like in real life, as PSG. PSG is known to be like a very rich club now. So, but yeah, Marseille, they're so impressive. They do really, really well, and they've won 105 leagues. It's either... I remember checking this out last time. Isn't there any other teams that compete? And Monaco... Isn't that crazy how many times they come third? And then maybe Lyon every so often, but they don't do better. It's either first or second, winner and runner-up. It has to be PSG or Marseille. I want to load this league so I can actually see what the tables, add as a playable league so I can see how the tables look, because I can't at this point in time, because I don't have the leagues loaded. But that just looks so crazy. Let me know your thoughts on that, because I just want to see how those leagues play out, because they obviously have dominant players if they're doing well in Champions. Look how many players they have, Marseille. Wow, I just want to, check out this guy who's the best, or at least highest valued. He's only 24, so, oh my god, those are amazing attributes. Kills it physically. Mentally, he's got some good attributes, some that are not that high, but then, wow, take a look at those. He's only played 40 times for the national team so far, but I'm sure he'll get a bit more. Those physicals are really good apart from the jumping reach. But yeah, well, how about Kone? So they got a guy from Ivory Coast. Again, physical beast. That's what I've noticed. Simulating in the future, the best players in the world are crazy physically. The lowest is 16, and those are jumping reach, natural fitness, and stamina, but the pace 19, acceleration 19, agility 18, but then he's so strong as well. Wow, yeah, that's what I'm just noticing. It's like every single player, again, another one physically good here, very good passer, a creative central midfielder, very, very good. So I just want to check out all the players. They have amazing players. They could be seen as the best team in the world recently. So if we go back again, Champions League, and just to see the recent winners here, we'll go up, and then you can see, yeah, they have won the last 2 Champions Leagues, and they had, again, a good period winning them fairly regularly, but they're just so good. They are so good. And also, apart for just searching the highest valued players, they're going to be looking for individual awards like the Ballon d'Or here for the best player in the world. Basically, there's this guy, he won 3 in a row, and then he won one like 6 years earlier. So maybe when he was a bit younger, coming through, and he still plays, and he's 36, so you can calculate his age. But wow, this is probably the best 36-year-old I've ever seen. Technically still amazing, but what would have been crazy, I'm pretty sure his dribbling would have always been poor, because it wouldn't have gone down drastically. I don't really know. Maybe it could have, but yeah, I don't think so, because all these other technicals, mentals, yeah, very, very high. Only physically, he has declined, because he, again, has that high natural fitness. That means he can play until he's old. Not too old, obviously, but he's 36, and he still keeps his technicals and mentals for the most part. They may go down a little bit, but what I will do is show you his stats and why he was so good. Stayed at PSG for a really long time. He made a big signing, as you can see there. Ooh, Stoke had him for a bit. Stoke, imagine if they kept him. Maybe they could have had a bit more success, but how about that season for PSV? And he was just on loan. He probably could have stayed at Stoke. Why'd they loan him out if he could do that good? But anyway, his best seasons were here. You can look at that. No doubt that's why he is one of the best players in this game, even than Atletico Madrid. And even because I'm simulating like every 100 years, there's probably a few guys we miss out on, like they retire, like we can't look at them in their prime right now, their attributes and everything like that. But this guy, you can see he's clearly one of the best, getting older now, so he didn't play much in this past season. But how about that for stats for his national team, Holland? 129 caps. I've seen more, but 123 goals. That is absolutely amazing. And then his career stats for his clubs is absolutely amazing. He looks so good. And I'll just check out these other guys, because like I said, you can't really see the older ones. They would have retired by now or become managers or something like that. You can see, just for example. But how about Lamine Coulibaly for Atletico Madrid? Still at Atletico Madrid. And this guy looks absolutely fantastic for a central midfielder. A physical beast, again, apart from in the air, jumping reach, pretty poor. 110 caps, appearances for national team France. But yeah, he's well-rounded. He's 32 and still... That's crazy. Like, wow. Yeah, during his career, he must have been amazing physically, because at 32, you imagine he'll go down, but that natural fitness is really good, so he's probably not declining so much. But for a player to look this good in all the attributes, just all together, 32, but especially physically, that's a surprise. No doubt, he would have been one of the best players in the world. And this guy for Barcelona, he's been at Barcelona for a few seasons. 37.5 mil he signed for. Look at all those average ratings for seasons. I mean, very, very good. For a winger, very good natural fitness. So again, that's why he's holding his ability, not declining too much. But I would imagine he would have had slightly more pace. But he was a strong winger as well. So definitely looked like an interesting player, I'll say. Most definitely. And then Consolvi's, not sure how to say this guy's name, but another physical beast. Take a look at that. He's still only 27, so he's basically in the prime of his career right now. He's going to have a few more good seasons. Again, we'll just see his history. You can see recently signed, fairly recently for Atletico. Came from Benfica. Interesting. Came through a Brazilian team. Is that VDG? But anyway, Robert Beals for Southampton. Interesting, because this guy is English. He doesn't look as amazing. He doesn't look like a best player. He looks like a good player. But I guess his stats, they tell you. 15 assists, 11 goal season. That's not too bad. And they're in the Champions League as well. But he doesn't strike me as just really amazing. And also, guys, I'll just show you the World Cup winners, as I'm sure you want to know that, but there's not too many outstanding ones. Saudi Arabia, definitely I checked them out last time they won. They actually, surprised, they won a few. They won 2. That's not easy to do. Win 2 World Cups in a row. Definitely, that's not an easy task. But they must develop some, decent players. It'd be very interesting to analyze them a bit more. Again, I don't want to go through a lot of national teams, but obviously, but their world ranking now is 44th. So, it's something very interesting. They seem to create good enough players. Cyprus winning there, but there's not, too many outstanding ones. But now, guys, we're going back to the English leagues, and this is what I will basically, show for the rest of the video, go down the English divisions. But also, I was talking about Arsenal before. They did get relegated once, so that's something I could look into. Which big teams got relegated, and that was the only time they dropped to the Championship. You see, they've been in the Premier League for the whole time, for the whole save, basically. Is that the first time they got relegated? Oh no, they had some up and down in the past, didn't they? But that was it was a one-off. They came back in the Premier League. That looks really weird. They came 18th. So they got relegated, get second in the Sky Bet Championship, and then they pretty much, that's pretty good, their first season back in the Premier League. 6th, they got, just hovering, maybe just getting those Europa League places, and then, get back to their best, and then start some dominance. So, those kind of things are very intriguing for mine. But anyway, Sky Bet Championship is what it's looking like, opposed to we're not really focusing on the winners, obviously Everton, and they get back in the Premier League, but I'm focusing on the teams that are actually here. Leicester, I'm not really too shocked about the teams that are relegated, would have got relegated, like Premier League teams in real life. It's more so the smaller teams that have got up to this level, that are close to getting to the Premier League. So Dulwich Hamlet, let's check out how they've progressed and their history as well. I don't know. Did they actually get to the Premier League? No, just Championship. Just got to make sure. Oh, no, they did. They got to the Premier League, but then got relegated. They came 20th. So they did, in fact, get to the Premier League. Ooh, and before then, they stayed around. So there was a team that low did get to the Premier League. So just because they're not in the Premier League now, or no lower teams are in the Premier League now, it doesn't matter. It doesn't mean they weren't. A team that starts in the Vanarama. Where are we? We have to go more down because we are so far in the future. But you can see how much they progress, most definitely. They start... it's like they're not in a league, so I don't know where they start. But either way, they're in the non-leagues, 100%. Where it would be the 2016-17 season. Would they... that league there? I don't know. Or even below that? I'm not sure. Either way, let me know, because they did make it to the Premier League. They didn't really go on to achieve anything beyond that. But credit for getting that far, most definitely. And then they're the really shock. They're the shock. There's no other real shocks I can see, lower teams. There's Forest Green there, but I would say, Dulwich Hamlet, the shock that they did actually make it to the Premier League as well. Interesting. And now, guys, checking out Sky Bet League 1, and this is where we take a look at both ways. Maybe a more unknown team that are here now, or Premier League teams that have dropped. As you can see, Sunderland's in this division now, Watford as well. So, yeah, some interesting teams that are there, but then there's maybe the likes of someone like a Dartford, actually. Let's see, what's the highest they've got? Well, they've gone to League 1, and I think that may be it by the looks of things. But, yeah, they must have been... Okay, interesting. Let's see how they went. They got to, league... Oh, they got to the Championship, but couldn't really compete there, so they got relegated. Oh, that's two relegations in a row, so... Yeah, they got to the highest they've been, and then they just... I have no idea what would have happened there. It's hard to really analyse. They got to the Championship there, actually. But if we go all the way down, and you can see they do start in the Vanarama South, and they do stay there for a few seasons. But, yeah, they're probably the most interesting there. Then you got, Wickham getting relegated, but, yeah, there's no real surprises here, I would say. Again, I wouldn't say Sunderland would be a shock. Like, you wouldn't be shocked they got relegated from the Premier League. So, yeah, let's just see their history, though, as there may be some surprises. But they seem, they've been dropped down here for a while. Premier League, they were... I wonder if they were relegated before then. Yeah, well, I would imagine well before then, like their first relegation from the Premier League in the game. Yeah, they got a quick. Yeah, it just took a few seasons. They were a bit up and down for a few seasons, but then they stayed in for a healthy amount of time. So for Sunderland, yeah, they're up and down. But now they're down. So that's what people said last time, if I could do a fallen Premier League team, but none of them seem to be too fallen. Like Sunderland is not like a huge Premier League team. Like, what kind of team would you like to see me do if they've dropped to League 1 or League 2? At least would have to be a mid-table team. Like someone that strikes me like an Everton or something like that, at least. But yeah, like a top 4 team, they'll be crazy if they drop that far. But yeah, there's no one really that amazing that shocks me here. And now on to Sky Bet League 2. Let's take a look here. Any teams shout out at me? Skelmersdale. There's a name for you. Let's take a look at their history and see how they've been going. So they've stayed in the League 2 for a few seasons. I guess it's not too shocking, but I want to see where they originate from at the start of the save. We'll go down to 2017, where they're not there. And the year before, they're that Northern Premier. So I'm not sure where they would have been. Again, if you know, please tell me, because they take until 2038, basically more or less 20 years before they get to the Vanarama North. And then they get promoted, Vanarama National. Stay there for a few seasons, relegated. So, yeah, let me know where they originate from, or where they are in real life, pretty much, because obviously they must be in some Northern Premier League or something like that. But yeah, let me know, because they've made it up into the Football League. So massive credit to them. And obviously the next step would be trying to get promoted and then, pushing up League 1, Championship. But they seem to be settling as a mid-table team. They just finished 12th. So, yeah, that looks all right. And I have no idea where I'm going now. But anyway, back to the League 2. They're the only, other real shock, I would say. Again, not like an unknown team like that. That is actually, pretty crazy. I'm not from England, so I don't know what level of crazy that is for them to get into League 2, like how low they are actually in the divisions. And that's why it took them actually like about 20 seasons to get up to a playable league in the game, like the Vanarama leagues. So, the conference. But anyway, yeah, there's no other. Okay, it doesn't look like any big teams have dropped to League Two. And now taking a look at the conference, the Vanarama National League, Blackburn, well, they just got promoted. Interesting. I wonder how long they were here for. Interesting, yeah, a bit up and down through these leagues. Blackburn Rovers, man, they could be a very interesting team to do a save with, because if we go down, they've been pretty poor. So if we go to real life, 2017, yeah, of course they're in the championship. They stay in the championship for a while, which is understandable. They'll get a relegation, scope at League One, took a couple seasons, got back up to the championship, then back to League One, and you just expect they'll get back to the championship. They did, and they struggled a bit. As the years went by, they stayed League 1, League 2, but yeah, dropping to the Vanarama National, that's a massive thing for a team that used to be in the Premier League, and they were actually fairly decent. They won the Premier League in 1995 there. Wow. Just to show the difference. Obviously, that's so many years later to where they are, like in the game. But if we go to their overview, you can see they've won 3 Premier Leagues. So if we go to the actual competition history, the domestic leagues, they've got a lot of history. Yeah, that's what I was thinking in my head. They've got a lot of history. You can see they won FA Cup 5 times. So yeah, fairly interesting, I'd say. Like I'm trying to look for a team that's dropped this low that I could potentially play with, but at the same time I want to keep simulating. But yeah, that would be an interesting save to do. Though the game does run slower, that would be the only thing if you do yourself simulate this far. But yeah, it would be so interesting to try and get a team with a bit more history. They're not like a top 4 team that's dropped far, but a team that used to be good that have dropped now to the Vanarama National League. But then, yeah, they're back to League 2 now. And there's no other real shocks. Obviously, there's going to be a lot of other lower teams. Portsmouth still having their struggles, not getting back to the Premier League or close. So, yeah, that's interesting. Well, okay, the National League North looks very interesting. This is where Middlesbrough are. Wow, and obviously real life in the Premier League, and they have dropped this low. Pretty shocking. I don't think anyone else, too shocking. Yeah, definitely no other Premier League teams. Wow. So let's take a look at their history and see what where did they drop before? Yeah. Wow, they're just... I'm shocked they've dropped this, and they've been here for a while. Damn. And they've stayed down. Oh my god. They must have been here where in the last one I did was obviously 22-17, because I think someone was asking about them. But yeah, they were just in League 1, League 2, which was understandable. But now they've oh my god, they dropped to not even a playable league. But yeah, getting relegated from the Vanarama North. What a fall from grace, but they were able to make it back. Wow, that is insane. That is insane. And they're still in that Vanarama North now. So they could be but they'll be like a lower league management kind of series to do. So I don't think I would do a save with them, but I don't know. That's so interesting and shocking that... How did that happen? Let's see. Yeah, they just... Okay, Premier League. I think I went a bit too far down there to see... Okay, we're in real life. 2017. They got relegated in the first season. Or they'll be crazy. That will be crazy. They never got back to the Premier League. Is that true? I gotta keep searching. I thought I saw it. Or they never got back to the Premier League. that is probably... I don't know if that's more crazy than them getting relegated all the way down to the regional Premier divisions. That's what it is, divisions, yeah? Like, there's multiple ones, just as a guess. No, yeah, they never got back. Just in case I missed something, they got... Oh, no way. I think that's the craziest thing in this so far. Yeah? And they just stayed in Championship till they got relegated League One. They got relegated the first season, 2016-17 season, and they never got back to the Premier League. No. That is insane. Yeah. And then they were just hovering around, like, after getting relegated, up and down, Championship, League One. It was the same. They stayed in League One, League Two. They never got back, then dropped down like to Vanarama National, and now just staying in the Vanarama North again after getting relegated to that regional Premier divisions. Wow, they have to be the biggest story here, without a doubt. Like, how are they looking financially now? That's like what I'm wondering. If we go general, it says finances are okay. The estimated value now is 10 million, and they got the loan debt, 1.2 million. It's just, wow. I am completely shocked that they are this low, and not that they're just this low. They got relegated the first season, and they didn't make it back to the Premier League. That is so bad, actually. Wow. They have to be the highlight of going, in this video here, 300 years into the future. This is the state of Middlesbrough. And then, guys, just the National League South. I wouldn't say there's such bigger shocks as Middlesbrough. There is maybe someone like Millwall, if anything. But yeah, no teams that were in the Premier League. That is for sure. So I think we will just go back and we will go to Middlesbrough to work our way back to the Premier League. But it's pretty shocking that... Oh, and they've never won a Premier League? Oh, man. I'm telling you, they could be a really interesting team to do. Like, at this point in the save. But obviously, I'm still going to be simulating because I want to see more things that happen in the future. But I think I'm going to maybe just make another save, if you know what I mean. So I can still continue simulating, but maybe try something with Middlesbrough. What do you think? I don't know. I don't know if I'll do a save on it. I got my Borussia Dortmund series. I almost finished the first season, and at the same time, maybe it depends what you guys want to see. Like, and this is another question. My Football Manager content. Do you want to see these a bit more? Should I spend more time simulating? Like, what do you want to see? Just let me know in the comments. So I think I'll leave this here for now. I hope you enjoyed this video. Maybe leave in the comments what you found most interesting. And again, if there's still something I haven't shown, please let me know in the comments. And that'll be it for now. Hopefully you enjoyed it. I'll see you guys next time.